Good Sunday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gillaway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports, live from the Orchard Street studio. And this is our high school football Week 5 recap show. I'll be joined momentarily by our panel of experts, along with our opening guest coach, as soon as we're done thanking those responsible for bringing you tonight's show. And they are our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Payer Apparel, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Ted's Bar and Grill, The Tire Mart, American Legion, Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Hoffman Ford, Sam Hartley Decking, and Tonino's Pizza. Thank you to those great local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports and our area student athletes. We'd also like to thank, and not just because one of their top writers is with us tonight, but we'd like to thank Penn Live, as we do every week, because we do use some of their photos, and we appreciate it. They're great photos. I know the guys that take a lot of these photos, and it just makes our show better to have those available. So thank you very much to the photographers at Penn Live for sharing their photos with us. Upcoming, we are sourcing still John Denniston from East Pennsboro, but I've also been in touch with 23rd year head coach Joe Heeden from Susquehanna Township, coming off a big win over Steel High this past Thursday, and they are undefeated, out of the gate undefeated. So our panel of experts tonight. Oh, Travis has a buddy. We got a new expert tonight. How you doing, buddy? Our panel of experts tonight. We are without Eric Thomas. He's out. He went out to watch his Green Bay Packers win a game in Cleveland today, and that didn't kind of work out the way he hoped. But
he was really upset.
Was he really? He gets upset. We have Travis Waters and is that your grandson? Okay.
Grandson.
How you doing, buddy?
Wow, you're a young grandfather.
And we have Terry Clark Jr., Dave Berman, and our guest panelist, Eric Epler from Penn Live Patriot News. So our opening guest tonight is a 39th year Wyomissing head coach, 48 years overall coaching, I think all with Wyomissing. He did a 9-year stint as an assistant coach. He's 377, 92-1 in his career as a head coach, 12 District 3 championships, and a state championship over Aliquippa, I believe back in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. And they have been, his teams have been to 3 title game appearances. So, and a whole lot more. I'm just throwing a few things out there. So let's bring him in. And Coach Bob Wolfrum, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
Did I get that right? Was your state championship in 2017 against Aliquippa?
2012 it was.
12, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm wrong a lot. So that's why I asked you. So we appreciate you joining us. And this is really exciting for us. And we're going to have a little bit of fun here. Let me just get things started. Then we'll kind of round robin it. I noticed that a lot of your staff, a good portion of your staff, played for you. And I guess the first question: how important and how meaningful is that to have your guys around you, day in and day out, and really all year long, but mostly during the season?
It's the culture of our program, I think, makes guys want to stick around and coach. And we've been fortunate that, we're just not picking guys up that went to our school and making them coaches. These are guys that, played in college, or a bunch of them have been head coach in other sports and know what we're all about. So they are, it's amazing how the program goes when you have coaches who are with you year after year. I look around some of our other programs in the county, and they don't have anybody in the school. Their coaches are all from the outside. And the fact that almost all of our coaches are inside coaches really helps, make sure we get all the kids out of the hall that should be playing football.
That's important.
And for us as coaches, it doesn't take us long. Our meetings are pretty short, and I hear other people talk about how long they meet, and it just doesn't take us that long because we all know each other. We all know what, pretty much what we're going to do from week to week. So I'm blessed to have that situation.
I would imagine so. 5-0, another very good team here for sure. Very good team last year. I watched the overtime loss to Lampeter Strasburg, and some team had to win and one team had to lose, and that was just one of those games where they had a very good team. But here you are again, and that's just kind of the way that Wyomissing football is. You don't really take years off from being successful. What's the kind of, I know there's a lot of faces and names change year in and year out. What's kind of the thumbprint or the DNA of this team? What makes them click?
This year we have a whole bunch of skill people. I've had years where if you got 3 backs, you're lucky. We're 2, and we have 3 good fullbacks, and that really helps because this year we happen to be very new on the line. We got guys that just haven't been there before. But if, we can just keep improving and just open up a seam here and there, then instead of 6 yards, it's 6 points. And we've done a lot of scoring from distance. So those guys, really help out when you're in the situation that we're in.
Absolutely. Okay, Eric Epler, let's bring you in, bud.
Coach, I want to say, obviously, congratulations, 5-0 start. I know there's a lot of football left. I'm always curious, fewer and fewer teams across the state and even the country are running the wing tee anymore. How do you sort of go about teaching that offense to these new guys? I mean, obviously, it's up front, it's about leverage, but it's also about having those power backs and having guys that really understand the offense. How long does it sort of take you guys to kind of implement that? Or does it start even before high school with maybe a feeder system?
We talked about that I have a whole staff of guys who played here. Well, our youth program is a whole bunch of guys who played here coaching their own kids as they come up through, and they're all using the same offense and they're using the same language even that we do. And that, they're not doing the exact same things, but it's enough like what we do that when they get here, it's not some foreign language to them.
All right. Terry Clark, you took the week off last week, so let's bring you in next, bud.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Coach, welcome to the show. I guess I'll start off with this. Well, I'll just throw this out here and it'll feed into my question. So, Wyomissing is a district power in District 3, of course, but your program is also a state perennial power as well. At this point, it always seems like you guys are always off to a 5-0 start, 4-1 start, regardless, 9-1 record, 8-2 record. You guys seem to maintain that every year. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, with your program being a Class 3 enrollment rise, you play up in a 4A.
A small class 3. Let me add, yeah.
Yeah. How are you able to maintain the amount of success, being as you guys are a smaller school?
I think over the years we've just built a culture that winning is important, doing things correctly is important, and that winning is, the main reason we're there. It's not intramurals. And when a kid gets to our level, they know football's important. It's important to our community. It's important to our high school, and they don't take it lightly. Neither do their parents. We have a lot of support from the community, from the parents, and that just helps the kids realize how important it is to everybody.
Thanks, Coach. Terry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we were just talking about that before you came in, that they're actually closer to being a 2A school than
Okay.
they are to being, at the 4A where they are. Travis?
Right.
I apologize. I don't think I have the best connection right now.
You're
Coach,
fine.
thank you. Good. Thank you for coming on today. I just wanted to bring this up. You've coached, I think it's your 39th year, it was said.
As
coaching.
head coach, yeah.
48 overall.
That's amazing. So you were coaching when I was in high school. And I think back to when I was in high school and how much the game has changed. A lot of teams that we played against ran we were a power I team. A lot of teams ran a power I. A lot of teams ran the wing T. Can you talk about how you've seen? Obviously, you've kind of kept things the same, but how you've seen the evolution of the high school game?
Well, defense has become a real job now. Like you said, we used to play against high back teams, sometimes wing tees. Very rarely did you see anything like a spread like almost everybody does now. So it's used to be simple to, put a defense in every year and say, this is what we're going to do. And we found out when people start throwing spread stuff and running zone offenses and the like, and option offenses, you got to be pretty flexible. And we learned that we were still beating the zone teams, but we were beating them 49-45, because we couldn't stop them. So luckily, my son was a college coach for a number of years, and he was at Akron, Louisville, and most recently West Point. And so we had access to their staffs, and we learned how they go about stopping this and stopping that. And now, we have, I'll tell you, we're an odd front defense, but that's all I can tell you, because we play the option teams one way, we play the zone teams another, and it's probably more complicated than I like it to be, but in this day and age, you have to be able to stop so many different things. And we got some defensive guys who just do a great job. And each week they, we're talking, okay, this week we got to do this, and next week we got to do that.
Thanks, Coach. The voice of Delco, Dave Berman.
Yeah, wing T is pretty big in the Central League down here, especially with your buddy Kevin Clancy at Strathaven. Did you ever talk to Kevin about the wing T?
I've been at a couple clinics with Kevin. I've heard him speak on it, but both of us being from Westchester and everything, we've actually never sat down and talked. But I know a whole lot about him and his program.
Yeah, it's successful. They hardly ever pass the ball. They have 5 running backs. It's tough to stop. You got to be very disciplined against them.
Eric Epler.
Coach, I just wanted to ask too, you're sitting there 300 plus wins. You're approaching 400 wins. A guy joined the 200 club just on Friday, Doug Doms from your neck of the woods at Wilson High. Can you just talk maybe what's your relationship with Doug? Obviously, him being a 6A school, you guys being sitting down there in 4A now, you guys don't hook up, you don't play each other, but, what kind of relationship do you have with Coach Doms, and what can you say about, obviously, his tenure there, which is, I believe, goes back to 77 or 76, something like that at Wilson?
Yeah. Well, my first job was at Muhlenberg, and I came in to coach there. I think it was 2 years after Doug Doms graduated from there. So I used to always hear his name when I was out there, like how great of a player he was and everything. Good thing about Doug, we get along, coaches, and he's a great guy. And in the summer, our teams, even though we're different levels, we'll get together and 7-on-7, and that's good for us. And he said it's good for them because they don't see any wing tees,
Right.
so that we're throwing a lot of short stuff, and they don't see a lot of that kind of thing. So it's good for them to work against us.
That's interesting. I'd like to sit and watch that. I never would imagine that the two of those programs would hook up. Terry?
Yes. So the Berks and the LL League are now combined one. Can you just talk about the benefits of that? Do you like it? Maybe you don't like it, or what do you think about it?
I love it. For some reason, our league was struggling. We didn't have many big schools that were very good anymore. We just we ran into a situation where we were winning 8 of our 10 games, where the JVs are playing in the second half. And the Lancaster Lebanon, a little more competitive, it's with Berks and Lancaster teams in there. And we find every year that, just in our division now, the Twin Valley, Lampeter, and us are, all last year, we were all at one time in the top 5 in the state in 4A. And then we've ran into Cacalico while we're over there. So our games, even the ones where we win easy, are still a little bit tougher than they used to be when the Berks League towards the end there was just, it was getting pretty weak.
Okay, Travis?
That's all I have.
Okay, that's good. That's fine. Dave Berman?
No, Coach, again, your dad was one of your big, was one of the great all time, Philadelphia Public League, Frankfurt High School. So a lot of memories back then. And he also, playing at Franklin Field back in the 40s, late 30s, 40s. Tell us about your father.
He's the reason I got into teaching and coaching. He used to take me, and we got to go back. Frankfurt was a power in the Philadelphia Public League. I think they've fallen on hard times now, but he was there, played there in 40, and then he played at Temple, and then he came to Frankfurt as an assistant coach and moved to George Washington after that. But I'm always trying to get our AD to set up a game with Frankfurt. I always wanted to play down there, and I don't know if it'll ever happen. I'm 75. I don't know how many years I have left here, but I'd love to do that. Go back and play where I walked on the field, when I was 5, 6 years old, and that's where, I fell in love with football.
I hope it happens.
So let's close with this, Coach. You've coached 3 players who ended up in the NFL. I don't know how many more. I'm not even going to try to estimate how many other high-level college players, from Division I up to down to Division III. But what about the hundreds of young men who dedicated 3 or 4 years, like blood, sweat, and tears, as more role players, which is still very important to a program. A lot of times they're the most selfless members of your team. Most of what they do is for their teammates, their coaches, and the Wyomissing football program. Talk about those players.
They're the heart of your team. The guys that are going to go on and play in college. I know we have a lot of names here of guys that did go on and play in college, but most of your guys are just regular soldiers, and they're the guys that make your team. And the fact that they're willing to, do the whole off-season program and whatever you ask them to do, because football's a time commitment. knowing that they're not, their last game with us is going to be their last game. I have so much respect for those kids because they play just as hard as the guys that are going to go in and to the next level. And those guys, they're just neat to be around,
Right?
Because they care just as much as the other guys do.
Yeah, they have that same burn in their belly, and sometimes even more. So, Coach, we really appreciate it. Coach Bob Wolfrum, Wyomissing, great to have you as a guest today. I want to thank Frank Ferrandino. He's the athletic director and one of your assistant coaches, right?
Yeah, he's my boss, and I taught him in second grade.
Oh, wow. Oh, there's just so many meaningful things that we're talking about here. So thank you to Frank, if he's there with you, for helping to get this all set up. I just reached out a few days ago, and we were able to put it all together. So, again, I told you, we're all fans of you and your program up here, and we wish you well in the second half of the season and beyond that, Coach.
Thanks a lot. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Coach.
Take care, sir.
See ya.
Bye-bye. So, guys, that was really good. That was a great interview. A lot of great questions, and what an awesome guy he is. So, Eric, we don't have Eric for much longer here. So, you know what I think I'm going to do? We're going to skip over what I was going to do next. Let's go right to our feature game, or our game of the week. You were there. Do you have a few minutes to talk about Susquehanna Township and Steel High?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, I was finished out kind of more of a, I don't even know how to identify that. I'm not going to call it a backyard brawl or anything like that, because they've only played twice now in the last 9 years. They played last year and this year, but they're just two local communities, the Susquehanna Township community, the Steel High community. I thought the place was very, very well attended, and Steel High looked strong for a 2A team, in my opinion. Susquehanna Township looked kind of vulnerable at times. And that said, it was a bit of a classification mismatch maybe at times, but they look like they belonged on the same field together. What'd you think, Eric?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was a great litmus test, for both sides. I mean, Susquehanna Township was rolling quite, along, putting up a lot of points, sitting there in 4-0 coming into this game. Steel High doing the same. Obviously a big win to open the season against Juniata with that last-second touchdown pass from Caden Cole-Stevens to Silas Hernandez, which got them off, got the momentum rolling for them. But, yeah, I mean, this is a 2A Steel High squad, and they were very much in this ball game. And I think initially, Joe, the shock of sort of Steel High basically daring them to run the football against them sort of had Torrin Evans, terrific quarterback for Susquehanna Township. They want to throw the ball. And the fact that you put 3 guys in the box and, you're trying to shove it in there to 8 guys in coverage. And sure enough, 2 quick interceptions for Torrin in that game. So eventually they adjusted, and eventually Torrin kind of calmed himself and realized, hey, listen, I don't need to tuck and run. I can let my guys get open, just kind of give it that extra second. And that kind of paid off in the second half. But
Yeah.
I you and I talked just before the show, and Steel High, I think Steel High is in better shape than I thought they would be at the midway point of the season. Obviously, they didn't play in week 1, quote unquote week 1.
Right.
So they're sitting there 3-1 now, but I thought they played way better than I thought they would against a team like Susquehanna Township.
I agree.
They got a lot of really nice moving parts, and really the developing parts is really on offense for the Rollers, and they've looked good at times there. That pace that they try to get, obviously, Steel High runs their offense at one pace. It's fast. It's go.
Right.
And I think at times it would benefit them to kind of pull back, but that's not them. They don't really know how to kind of pull back.
Right.
But it's worked for them. It's been, I think the game was a better indication of where Steel High is right now than where Susquehanna Township is.
I agree.
Because I think Susquehanna Township's defense is still sort of developing. They have a lot of good parts there. Don't get me wrong. But you can really rely on that offense. And when you add in the element of Torrin and his ability to run the football, now you've got 2 or 3 guys who can rush the football, and even a guy who can obviously take it, and move the chains when things break down.
Yep.
So all in all, I was impressed with both teams, really. I mean, you know, save for the amount of penalties, you know, Hannah had and the chippiness that we saw. But again, you mentioned the rivalry. I thought it was all in all played out like it should have.
So, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I went to that game, and I'm glad I did. I didn't know what I was going to be in for. Travis, you watched the game, didn't you?
Yeah, I attended the game, and I
oh, you were there? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and actually, yeah. So, I agree with a lot of what Eric said. You know, and first and foremost, I'm going to apologize to Steel High because I think I said probably 2 times. I said this game should not be played. I didn't think Steel High had a chance, and they went toe to toe. You know, and you mentioned Torrin Evans. You know, he threw the 2 interceptions early in the game, but in the second half, and I'm not going to disrespect Ben Dupree, but he had some Ben Dupree-esque plays. The way he flipped that ball across the field on the run. There was some stuff that I saw Ben Dupree do on that field. I'm not going to say he was Ben Dupree. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to disrespect him like that. So at the end of the day, Susquehanna did what they needed to do. They won the game. You mentioned penalties, Eric. I think Steel High really needs to clean the penalties up. I think it really hurt them. They had Susquehanna. They were up 7, had them dead to rights at the end of the half. It should have been a 3rd or a 4th and long, and they got a penalty out of bounds penalty, game of first down. So they just got to clean that stuff up. I'm not going to say they would have won the game because of that, but those are the kind of things, obviously, against a quality team that are going to hurt you. But you don't want to. I know Coach Irby's not going to be satisfied with a moral victory, but I was impressed with Steel High watching that game. And again, you know, I think some people, honestly, I heard some disappointment from some of the Susquehanna fans, but at the end of the day, you won.
Right. And, you know, I become more and more impressed with Coach Andrew Irby as the years go on, you know, and I think I'm guilty of this when it comes to the smaller classifications. I mean, I don't disrespect them. It's not that I don't have respect for them, because I do, but I'm more of a kind of a big school guy, and they're the coaches I focus on, and they're the coaches I tend to give the most credit to. Coach Irby is an exceptional coach, and you could see it in the way his team was prepared and the way they executed on Thursday night. Terry Clark?
Yeah, I just gotta add to what pretty much everyone said so far about Still High. I mean, coming into the game, I even said I figured it would be a 3 to 4 touchdown game.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I seen it. I just felt as though the way Hannah was rolling, they've been pretty much dominating everyone they played so far. But what I didn't account for was Coach Irby. Coach Irby, he had his guys ready to play. He had them ready to go. They had an excellent game plan early on, which caused some mistakes that Hannah made early. He basically, like Eric said, he dared Susquehanna to run early. Everyone knows that they want to pass with Torrin. They have a really, really elite receiver group. So he was like, hey, run the ball. And Hannah eventually made the adjustments to do what they needed to do. I will say this, though, about Still High. I was impressed with especially early on in the game, their defensive line, man. Their defensive line really, really took it to Susquehanna early in the game and gave them problems. And I was very shocked by that. I didn't know that they were able to do that. But as the game went on, once Hannah started running the ball more, and that's where you see the classification difference matter.
There was some of that. There was definitely some of that. It's hard to put your thumb on it and explain what you're talking about, but I saw it too. Yeah.
Right. As the game goes on, Still High doesn't have the ability, because they're smaller classification, to continuously rotate guys. They got to play what they got with what they have. So late in the game, I do think some of their D-line, they were getting fatigued, and ultimately that was the difference in the game, in my opinion. But all in all, I mean, Still High showed up. They proved that they can play with them. They made a statement, and I do think looking forward, that is that was a good game for them to continue to build off of.
Yep. So let me Dave, if you want to contribute here, I'll bring you in just a second. I want to read Anthony Andrioli's. He's a kind of a VIP contributor. He follows the show, and we appreciate it. He says that he felt that Steel High should have gone for it on 4th and 5. I don't recall. Do you guys remember what part of the game that situation occurred?
I'm trying to think. I think I do remember. I do remember that, and honestly, I don't remember exactly what the circumstances were. But Irby will go for it. He will not hesitate to go for it on 4th down. And I remember there was a time in the game where I was surprised he didn't go for it.
Right. Maybe that was probably it.
He lined up, but the quarterback didn't back up.
That's now I remember. Yeah.
And they were punting towards the concession stand.
Right. Yeah, because the quarterback who turned into the punter wasn't too far back. He was right, Eric. He was very close to the line of scrimmage, so it looked like they were going to go for it.
Yeah, that's how they run their punt. Basically, they'll try to, especially you'll try to draw the guys off sides, defense off sides, and then you do that kind of quick kick with your quarterback. Basically, I'm going to say 6, maybe 7 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Right. Yeah, it's close.
Maximum. So, they've done that all year. I have not seen them line up one time in a proper,
true punt formation.
Formation. So that's what they do to give that illusion that, maybe they have that threat and in fact to go for it on some 4th down occasions. But yeah, I agree with Terry. I think this is a really good defensive front for Steel High. I've seen them now 3 games. I've seen 3 times already, and guys like Achilles Cole, Quadir Tate is up there. I think Samaj Evans is up there. These guys are nasty up front, and if you put those 4 guys and allow your linebackers to sit a little bit, read the quarterback, or even shadow the quarterback in a case against Susquehanna Township, then to keep this team in there, that defensive front has to be angry. Right. And they played tremendous, but I do think Terry's also right that once Susquehanna was starting to lean a little bit and get Rakai Seville, who I think is really one of the most underrated running backs in the Mid-Penn Conference. I don't think he had much steam, or at least a lot of notoriety walking into this season as a featured running back, but he's been tremendous, and he opens up so much offense for those guys for that passing game. So, but once you allow that, that lean to kind of come and the size difference to kind of lean a little bit in the second half, and these guys are playing both ways. At least 9-10 guys are playing both ways, and when you're going that constant pounding along the line of scrimmage, it takes it out on you. And it wasn't. It wasn't exactly like a brisk fall day either. It was humid. Yeah. And that takes it out even. I think that's right. They just got a little bit out of gas.
Right.
There in the second half, and Hannah was able to take advantage of that.
Dave Berman, you want to contribute to this at all? I know you didn't see the game, but the teams, the coaches.
Yeah, it looks like Steel High has a great chance to win their 18th District 3 tournament championship. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it's kind of. I was looking over the power rankings. It's almost set that it's going to be Steel High. Almost. You never know what's going to happen. Eric, I know you follow that stuff, but it looks like them and Lancaster Catholic are going to open up in the first round, and then of course it's a 4-team field. What I'm more let's close with this. What I'm more concerned about with Steel High is they're going to end up in the state quarterfinals with quite possibly the winner of Troy and Southern Columbia. Let's just assume, or let's just speculate that they'll be the 2 teams. Do you think Steel High has the caliber team? Now we're only halfway through the regular season, but do they look like they could be prepared for a matchup against a Troy or a Southern Columbia? Anybody?
Yeah, this year, I'm looking at some snippets of both Troy and Southern Columbia and Steel High. I think Steel High has a great shot to possibly go all the way, win another state title.
Anybody else want to?
I think it's going to come down to what Eric said. They do have a good front 4 in that defense. Whenever you're playing a Southern Columbia, it's going to come down to the trenches. or even a Troy. Still High has the athletes to compete. I will say this: this is one of Irby's deeper teams. I mean, they probably about 40, 45 kids on the sideline.
Yeah, that's a lot of players.
I haven't seen that from Still High in 10 years.
Right.
And they actually probably have less guys going both ways. But if you notice from that game with Susquehanna Township, it was a Still High game, kids catching cramps. It wasn't the Susquehanna kids because they were going both ways. More of them were going both ways. But the play for Southern Columbia is all about how you can compete again in the trenches.
So let's just finish it with this. I'm not going to talk about Susquehanna Township and where they might fit in statewide at this point because they have a very difficult 4A is tough in District 3, okay? We talk about it a lot. We've talked about it for the last couple of years. Susquehanna Township may play Eastern York, West York, Wyomissing, Lampeter Strasburg. Who am I? Twin Valley.
Twin Valley.
I mean, that's a lot of really, really good programs. Anybody just what do you think about that, Eric? I mean, you know how tough all those, and then you add in Susquehanna Township. That is 6 really legit teams there.
Well, it's interesting too because that collision course between Wyomissing and Twin Valley's coming up in a couple of weeks, and that really to me is sort of the upper echelon. Susquehanna Township is right there with that, but it would be interesting to see Twin Valley against Hannah because obviously they're both very similar styles. Both have really good offenses. But Wyomissing is a team that kind of makes you play a full 48 just because it's a lot of downhill and you have to put a lot of pressure on the defensive front at Susquehanna Township. That's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing when you're facing Susquehanna, but I don't think defensively yet Susquehanna Township's there to stop that. I think they could get there. I mean, obviously when you're looking at guys like Mack and, on the defensive side, I mean, this can be a really good Susquehanna Township defense. And if you look at the scores from the first 5 weeks, I think Steel High might be the top team that 20 points might be the most they gave up.
Yes.
So now the schedule's going to get harder, and obviously competition is going to get better. But this could be a really good Susquehanna Township defense in the long run. I hope they get there because that would be a whale of a game if we saw either Twin Valley or Wyomissing going opposite the Indians. That would be one I would want to be at.
Absolutely. Okay, so thank you, Eric Epler. I know that you have to cut loose, and you got something to do with family here tonight. It was a lot of fun, Eric.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Always appreciate you. Have a safe evening. Enjoy yourself.
Sounds good. See you soon.
Take care. Yep. Bye-bye. All right. So he's kind of one of the deans statewide, man. I like Eric. He's a great guy. He knows his football and he knows his girls basketball too, by the way. You know that, Terry, right? He's a girls basketball guy as well. So let's hit on some of these other. There weren't 3 weeks in a row now, and maybe it's just me, but there just weren't a whole lot of, let's call them sexy games. I don't know if we're just at that juncture of the season or
both high school and football, both high school and college.
Is that the way it is right now?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go down through here. Altoona went into Landis Field, shut out East. That's worth mentioning. East had 77 total yards, 51 on the ground, 26 in the air, and 4 first downs total. Altoona had 237 rushing yards. So Altoona's, they have to be bad. I watched the Altoona Central Dauphin game last week, and Central Dauphin kind of ran right through them. So I don't know. I guess I hate to use this, but it's all matchups, I guess. I don't know how East and CD will match up against one another, but that's for another week down the road. Cumberland Valley 24, Central Dauphin 15. Close game most of the game until about the beginning of the fourth quarter. And then you kind of saw the game kind of go in Cumberland Valley's way. And I still don't know if Cumberland Valley's ready to beat a really top-notch team. But, all they had to beat Friday night was one of their rivals, CD, and they got that accomplished. Mechanicsburg over Gettysburg. Shippensburg 21, Mifflin County 6. Mifflin County has scored 13 points in the last 14 quarters of play. They've scored 13 points in 3.5 games. So,
yeah, I see that Shippensburg was driving too inside the 5-yard line, and they really probably could have scored another touchdown.
Like Mechanicsburg could have scored another one.
So, but they're battling, and
Right.
You're looking for Mifflin County probably go 4-1 the rest of the year.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Lower Dolphins looking pretty good too. They still have Lower Dolphin and Redland.
Who just beat Hershey, so yeah.
Yeah. So Redland won by 40. Middletown 2 losses in a row now after starting out 3-0. West Perry blew them out. Trinity over Milton Hershey. Lower Dolphin over Hershey in overtime. LD moves to 3-1. LD entered the game at 3-1. Hershey at 2-2, and that's a logjam now. The Keystone. That's really tightening up. And we mentioned Doug Doms, Wilson over Cedar Crest 62-20. Doug Doms 200th career win. That guy's done a lot down there at Wilson West Lawn. Manheim Township won big. Central York won big. York High won big. LaSalle College and Roman Catholic both idle. I watched St. Joe's Prep every second of that game, guys. They're good. They're really good. I'm the one guy. Well, no, I'm not the only guy. Travis, you've been right with me, kind of shoulder to shoulder with this. We've known through the first 3 weeks of the season that St. Joe's Prep was darn good, even though they kept losing. They are darn good. Both sides of the ball. I wanted to throw this up. So this is what I'm seeing out there. Stuff like this. This is Mr. PA Football's top 20. And I'm not here to joke on Mr. PA Football, but they have St. Joe's Prep at number 19 going into the week. I don't think people understand that, sometimes really good teams play other really good teams, and it's not always going to be a win for them. So, Chester over Dunbar. Dave, can Chester get out of this regular season at 9-1 or 10-0 and maybe make a run for the district title, the District 1 5A title?
Predicted last year, state champs all the way.
Okay, all right. I'm not gonna challenge that.
Last year they got beat up in the second round of the District 1 tournament.
I'm sticking with Bishop McDevitt. I had them before the season started, and
I thought they were going to bump to 6A.
They will after this year.
Next year.
Yeah. North Allegheny only a field goal over Norwin. I think Pitt Central Catholic's the team. Like a lot of times it's North Allegheny, Pitt Central Catholic, nose and nose, and I don't think it's that way this year. And then I just want to mention this because we had Coach Wolfram on. Wyomissing beat Elko, Eastern Lebanon County, 42-7 to go to 5-0. So, am I missing anything there, fellas? And we want to talk about anything statewide? I mean, we have time here, and we don't have to drag this out either. But we do have time to talk about. Does anybody? Okay, let's do what we've been doing every week. Let's go our 6A top 4. I don't think mine's changed. I think I started with St. Joe's Prep and then flipped LaSalle above them after St. Joe's Prep lost a couple games.
Yeah,
I'm going LaSalle, St. Joe's Prep, Central Catholic, and Harrisburg.
Now I'm going to stick with LaSalle, Harrisburg. Parkland is getting it done, and Pittsburgh Central Catholic and North Allegheny. And St. Joe's Prep has to prove that they can, beat LaSalle. They get past LaSalle, then they'll move them up.
So you're going by record then, right?
I'm just going by the Harrisburg Patriot rankings.
Oh, okay. Travis, I kind of know how you feel. What do you think? What's the top 4 for you?
I'm always, like I said, no one's going to cry, and I'm not going to cry for St. Joe's Prep. I mean, we know they're clearly one of the top teams in the state. Until they lose to a PIAA team, all the rankings mean nothing. I don't care how many games they lose. They can go 0-5 before they come, and if they're not playing PIAA teams, they're playing top-ranked teams. And what does it matter?
In the nation. Sorry to interrupt, but in the nation.
But I'm going to say that I have LaSalle number 1.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm going to put Prep 2. And I like Harrisburg, and I'm going to put Central Catholic 3 and Harrisburg 4, just because I want to see Harrisburg play a complete game. I need to see a complete game.
You and I we're on the same page. Terry, you want to chime in?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my list isn't different from yours or Travis's list. That's how I had it coming into the year. LaSalle was always my pick as far as being the top ranked team just coming into this year. I just felt as though LaSalle, I just liked what I seen in the offseason, and I also I stand on that prediction. I still think that they're going to beat St. Joe's Prep in the regular season as well. Once again,
Like they did.
like they
Like
did
they did
last year,
last year, yeah.
right? But come playoff time, that's a different story. We'll talk about that when we get there. But I'm standing on that prediction though.
Here's something interesting. You have 60 teams ranked. This is the Penn Live. I think Eric's in charge of these rankings. I'm pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 5 teams out of 60 lost over the weekend. That's pretty amazing. In 5A, Strathaven lost to Haverford High. Dave, is that a big upset?
No, because Haverford's a 6A school, and
Okay.
they are very well. They made a nice run last year in the District 1 6A tournament. And it was a great game. I mean, from what I saw, read the articles, replay, it was just run. A few passes here and there. Very quick game. It was an old school 1940, 50, 60 type game, in the trenches. So
yeah,
Strathaven will still be dangerous in the District 1 tournament coming up 5A. Haverford could make a deep run in District 1 6A. I think the team that's going to win it, both teams I announced for, undefeated, Coatesville and Chester, both will win District 1 championships.
Okay. How about this? You can stay on the mic there. Bonner Prendergast lost to the Haverford School.
Private.
That's not a PIAA school. And they only lost by 4, 28-24. Not a bad loss. Bonner Prendy is ranked number 1 in the state in 4A.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, just to pinpoint just how good Wyomissing is, Wyomissing beat them.
Yes, they did.
Keep that in mind. Yes, they beat Haverford. Keep that in mind.
I think I either texted you guys over the week, couple of days ago, where I was going to and say, and this is before Coach Wolfram committed to coming on. I was going to tell you guys, I think Wyomissing's the real deal. I think they're a really good team. So, yeah. So Bonner Prendy, it's a good tune-up game. Whenever you schedule an interact school and go toe-to-toe with that team. In 3A, Mifflinburg lost to Hollidaysburg 49-14. Hollidaysburg's pretty darn good, right, Dave?
Yeah.
And they're 5A too, right? Or they moved down to 4A. They're 5A, yeah. Not a bad loss for Mifflinburg. I don't follow Mifflinburg. They're in District 4. Yep. And then Steel High, they had their loss. They were ranked 7th. I might even move them. I wouldn't move them down, that's for sure. They lost to Susquehanna Township. No. Karn City lost to Punxsutawney 22-19 in 2A, and that's it. I mean, 5 losses in 60 games. That's pretty or close to 60. There was a couple idle teams, but let's move on to our players of the week. Okay? And we're going to start with, we already had him up there, and that, friends, is Rakai Seville from Susquehanna Township. He got his turn Thursday night, and and he's had turns before that, but it was kind of his game, I thought, especially, since it took Torrin Evans a little while to get warmed up there, but 19 carries for 127 yards in a 35-20 win over Stilton High Spire. So I will be back to Susquehanna Township early this week. I just dropped off a Littlestown Gazette Sports Payer Apparel Player of the Week T-shirt for Torrin Evans last week, and we'll be back to give Rakai Seville one this week. And then this young man had a really good game, and I wanted to because he had a great game, but it also was such a big game for Lower Dolphin beat their rival Hershey 27-24 in overtime, and that's Hunter Strom or Strom, Strohm, probably Strom. 25 carries, 173 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. And this guy's a stud. He's committed to Mississippi State as a catcher in baseball. So, if he's running the ball ragged like that all over Hershey and then playing baseball at, you're going to Mississippi State, that's SEC. He's one of the top catchers in the country. So congratulations to Hunter, and we'll get a T-shirt out to him as well. So anybody have anything else? Does anybody have any coaches that it's that point in the season, if you guys want to, you don't have to do it now, but shoot me a text or call me or whatever. Go ahead,
How
Dave.
about the pride of Steel High and Central Dauphin, Matt Ortega?
I'd love to have Coach Ortega. You want to do my dirty work there, or you want me to reach out to? I'll reach out.
Reach out. He's on Facebook.
Okay, I'll reach out to him.
Sends me messages for stats. I'm like,
how about that? That's a great idea, Dave. Thanks.
His son's a quarterback, and he's got all
Yep.
I would like to get Brett Myers on from Twin Valley.
Love it.
If there's a way to get him on the show, that would be great. I think what he has done at Twin Valley is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Football, they've had no type of football success ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Now they're good.
Now they're good.
Yeah.
They're able to compete with Wyomissing.
Yes.
Like Lampeter Strasburg. That was normally a check mark. We're getting through that game. We're not worried about them.
Right.
But now you have to prepare for them guys.
Yeah, that's
and it's because of him.
I'm totally on board with that, Terry. Great call.
You guys ever thought about doing like a soccer show every week?
I like it. I grew up not liking it. I actually like soccer now. I've already doing a non-sports show on another night, and I would do like a one-off here and there. Yeah. I'd love to. I do a basketball show. I'd love to do a hint, Terry. I'm elbowing you right now. I'm doing the air elbow. I'd love to do a girls basketball show. And I'm not trying to be negative against soccer at all, but this is fun. We have a great crew here, and I just don't know if I have the time or the energy right now. Travis, do you have any recommendations now? If you don't, that's fine.
Not right now. I'm sure I could think of one. But not just.
But you know that the door's open if you ever have any ideas for bringing a coach in. All right, guys, I think that's it, man. We stayed under an hour, and that was a great show, I thought. And once again, let's thank Wyomissing 39th year head coach Bob Wolfrum. Man, I hope I look as good as he does. He's chiseled, man. He looks really good for 75. He really does. So, we're going to get a hold of Coach Myers and Coach Ortega. We're still sourcing Coach Joe Heaton and John Denniston. So we have some here for the upcoming weeks. But, we got 10 or 11 weeks left if you include the playoffs. So,
fellas, what would have been a great question, and I was kicking myself when he got off. I was thinking, he was a head coach for 39 years, coaching total 48 years. Just like, at 70, he mentioned he was 75 years old, how he keeps up with these guys, the young kids, and the changes. And we talk about the changes and how the offenses and stuff, but also kids and social media and everything.
Yeah.
That would be a great question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
A fabulous question. We did ask some good questions, though. We've gotten pretty good at coming up with some great questions, and I think Coach Wolfram enjoyed himself too. So, but we'll keep that one in mind though for the next time we have a guy that maybe has been passed by by social media. Heck, I'm only in my late 50s, and I'm kind of not really up to date too much with all that. So,
isn't it pretty cool that you're from Northeast Philly originally, and so is Coach Wolfram?
Maybe not far.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, thanks very much. I just want to show these folks once again. They are Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors. Thanks to all of them. Thank you to Eric Epler, our guest analyst, analyst for tonight. Our expert, our guest panelist is the word I'm trying to think of. Panelist, Dave Berman, as always, thank you. Travis Waters, Terry Clark, you guys are great at this, and it's a lot of fun to work with you guys every Sunday night. And wow, what a win for the Eagles, huh? Oh my!
How about those Phillies?
They found a way.
That's a chip shot these days. For
Say,
when
go
I was
Birds,
a kid,
go Birds.
woo, we could
They
say go
find a
birds.
way somehow.
We can say
Somehow,
go birds
man.
on this show. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate
See
it.
ya.
I'll be in touch. We'll be texting here